Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone, and with me tonight we have...
Matthew.
You're
I don't know what order we're going in.
It's you.
The hazing ritual is complete! We have
Welcome.
a tradition on this channel of not telling the new kids what they're in for.
Yep.
Usually they're the first ones.
Almost
And we
always.
Almost always they're the first ones. We did it at home too.
Yeah.
We used to do it in our home games where we would set them specifically in that spot where they're like, I'm gonna be furthest away, it's gonna be fine. No.
But it's to my right. It's whoever was to my right.
It was
So
always them.
yeah. So please introduce yourself, new friend.
Hi, I'm Michael St. Gregory. Nice to meet you.
Fuck, I was so busy hazing Michael that I forgot. I'm Pixie. Hello.
I'm Blondie. Hello.
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome.
Doing great.
Welcome. It's a new year. It's 2023. It's
When
been
did that happen?
It's been a busy 9 days.
Oh my god.
Why? What happened?
Whoa.
Yeah, did something.
It was very, and here's my favorite part. It's not just Wizards of the Coast. It's not just D&D. It's a lot of things, right?
Is it?
Like I am a fan of professional wrestling. If anybody else is, nice. So Vince McMahon blackmailing his company to put him back on the board.
What?
Because he wants to sell it.
He wants to sell it. So sure, here, let me catch you up on that one real quick.
Yeah.
Last year
Do you
he
want to adjust our framing so we're more of the screen while you're talking, by the way, because we are small right now.
Okay, yeah, sure. Here we go.
What if we want to be small?
Ooh.
Take away the frame and just make us large. Or you can adjust the frame. I was gonna ditch the frame.
Yeah, we can ditch the frame.
Yeah, because I made it so that if you fill that box with us the whole way, that the tip jar and the other thing should fit right next to me and Blondie already. Just make it fill the whole size. I did that that's how it works for, yeah. That's why I designed it that way. That's why I moved them there, so you can just...
Wait, what did that? Why did that do? Why does stuff keep not...
Hi, Boogie.
This is weird.
There you go.
There we go. How's that?
Boom, boom, and then bring us down a little so that the things fit in the blank spaces, so that my anxiety lets me not come downstairs and do it for you.
There you go.
Thank you. Happy brain. Carry on.
Also happy brain.
Thank you. It was not just me.
Oh,
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you, God.
All these squares make a circle.
So
Hey,
tell us
Boogie.
about Vince McMahon.
Right.
Boy, howdy.
Last year, Vince McMahon stepped down, both as the chairman of the board. He stepped away from World Wrestling Entertainment, the company he's owned and run since the 80s, on the allegation of using company funds to pay off sexual harassment claims against him over the years.
Of course, he didn't say that. He just said...
No, he just said, I'm
retire."
77, I should retire. Which
Bullshit.
most of the fan base would agree with. Anyway,
Yes.
so he was gone for about half a year, and then as soon as 2023 came around, he was like, we're negotiating TV rights next year, and so I have the voting control. I won't sign off on any sale of the company unless I'm involved from the beginning. So you have to make me chairman of the board, head in charge again. Yep. And
I think he got a bid, and that's why he's trying to get out on his own terms. Because did you see what one of the top people to bid was?
Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Also this week, in case nobody in case you cared about other important things, Wizards of the Coast is changing their gaming license, which effectively ruins a huge portion of the tabletop gaming world and industry, and is not only a blatant cash grab, but also really threatens to steal a ton of people's intellectual property.
There is literally a new, also Cody, can you ban stream stickers? You can click on their name and then hit ban. It's a mod, and I can't do that. No, you can't unless you're the owner.
Yes,
yeah,
correct. And I did log out of Rep.
Yeah, so that is apparently the fix. While I talk about it, you click on their name and there's a little...
They have badges.
I just looked at the chat.
Verified.
Thinks you fighting with them.
Give sub. Whisper.
Yeah, because the extension.
No moderator.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, the extension's gone now.
How do I ban?
It should be the little circle with
ban. There it is.
The Ghostbusters symbol. Thank you. Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah, there we go. Great.
Yeah, so they ruined capitalism. Yeah. So that's the thing is they're trying to do something that is impossible per the original open gaming license because they're trying to revoke. It's like, okay, to put this in terms I've been thinking about way too often lately. This is like, it's not even like trying to redo the Constitution, right? The Constitution says, okay, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, great, amazing. What it doesn't say is this right can never be revoked. It doesn't say freedom of assembly forever and eternity, doesn't matter when. The Open Gaming License 1.0, in fact, says that. It says cannot be revoked. There's a whole other series of things that will happen if someone tries to revoke it. And that literally Wizards is just like, we're gonna turn it off. We're gonna take it away. We can do that. No, you can't. Like, that's not how the license works, sir. Like, the fuck. Like, but all of this also, it came on the heels of I don't know if it was a leak or if she said it publicly, with the CEO basically saying, we want the kind of microtransaction returning investment that video game companies get. Thank you. Like I was like, that was fairly recent. So they can't even pretend that this isn't what they're doing anymore because we know that that's what they're looking for. They are seeing other third-party creators make better products than them faster because there's billions of us working on it at a time instead of just one small company. Go figure. It's almost like creativity breeds innovation more than like competition does. Like all these people, like I've never seen a single person, I've never seen a single one of these indie creators be like, only buy my stuff. No, every indie D&D publisher I know also highlights other indie D&D publishers. All of them are like, go also do this, it's cool. Go also, my friend wrote this. These people I met wrote this really cool system, I love it. I might make my own version later, but like this is where I got the idea. Like there's been that sort for 22 years in this community. And they're trying to take it away now. And it was because it was in 2000 was when that license was signed. And so now they're trying to take it away. And so it has encouraged several of us to go, fuck it. We're going to do our own thing that they cannot own. Even if they go back on this, we're just going to do our own thing anyway. And Cody's been playing this game that we're playing tonight for a while. He's been building it for a long time and finally got the fire lit under him because fear. And urgency.
Fear of fire.
It really is. It really fucking is.
Out of this battle station.
So that leads us to tonight. Tonight, Rep's back on Monday nights. We haven't been here in a minute, and so it's fun. It's good times. We're gonna do a little playtest, session 0 and a playtest of what you guys saw me working on over the weekend. I got progressively sicker on Sunday, and I've rallied a little bit just to get to hang out with these people. He's on so many meds.
He's on so many drugs right now, guys.
And
his blood is practically Sudafed.
Yes, it's just yes.
My veins drip with the minty taste of NyQuil.
Sexy.
Yeah.
It's slower.
Oh yeah.
Only the strongest.
Listen, that's my man, ladies, and we're polyamorous, and this is the version of him that I push. It's the date this version of him, it's hilarious. It's so fucking funny.
He's at his best when he's weakened and drugged up.
There you go. Hell yeah, he'll let you agree to anything. He let me go shopping unsupervised this past weekend at Office Depot. I spent all the money.
Whoa.
Like, I
want to talk about relationship trust.
Right? I come home and he goes, "Are we broke?" And I said, no, you have money. And he goes, oh God, but he didn't question or make me return anything. Cold medicine Cody is chill as fuck. I love it.
Codeine.
God damn it.
There it
Not
is.
that, because I'm allergic to codeine, so I would die. But mostly, yes.
So let's talk Decks of Destiny, shall we?
I'm the best wingman.
Yes, you are. You absolutely are. You absolutely are. Thank you guys for being here. We rolled for things because we didn't have the physical cards. You guys have written some up. Thank you guys so much for having them and for going through that effort to do that. This should have given you a little bit of a hint as to who your character is, kind of what they have been through. Okay? And then there is that odd man out card that has your endurance, your focus, your reputation, and mana, and wealth and style on it. Right? Those things right there. Yep. Nice. So, you should have an idea who your character is. What kind of where they came from, a couple of jobs that they've done, how they like to adventure, right? Kind of the things that make them special. Okay. There is no hard skill list in this system. Okay. But specifically in, like, you'll notice in some of the upbringing and some of the previous occupation cards, it'll list, like, you know the tools of the trade, right? That it is easier for you to accomplish a task with those tools. Okay. There are 4 stats. I'm going to run through those real quick. There's your physical stat. That encompasses literally all of your running, jumping, punching, kicking, living, balancing, hardiness, the physical body. Just all of it's in there, right? Mental is all of the processes, your ability to interpret information and gather it. Perception, or like finding something, depending on your approach, and we'll get to approaches in a minute, can be a combo of physical and mental. Okay? We'll get to that. We'll talk about that in a bit. Last of the big 3 is the social, your social skills. Literally, they're just your ability to act like a person around other people. That's it. If you're good at it, you're good at it. If you're bad at it, you're bad at it. That's just kind of how that is. Arcane is a final one. You'll notice that the Arcane very much on the cards it's a lot of cards that are either like 1 or 5, right? I have a little introduction to the world. It's very sassy. We'll get to that in a minute.
It is, though.
Your Arcane is your ability to interact with the magic of the world, right? How you choose to interact with it is really determined by, like, your adventuring style. Not all adventurers choose to interact with it, but it is something that you still have, right? Even if you have very little of it, you probably have something of it. You got a soul. You got a soul in there somewhere, right? So that is all of that. What I would like everyone to do right now is take that card that has your that's the one with all of your numbers, your added up total numbers. Put that one in the middle of the table in front of you.
Or wherever you can, for those of us who don't have a lot of desk space.
Yeah. Make it work, right? This is the basic idea.
Yeah.
And then take your deck of cards that you guys have made. Yep. You are going to make 4 piles and make a cross, basically, a plus sign. So some are going to be at the top, some at the bottom, some on the left, some on the right.
Shuffle these up?
You can shuffle them up. Yeah, actually, you can choose in what pile they go. It won't really benefit you now because you don't exactly know what you're doing. But in
I
theory,
don't.
a character, a player of this game would choose their spread. This is your spread. It is a tarot term. We have borrowed from tarot cards in a very loose way about divining part of our past to influence ourselves, and at a future update, cards that we may be earning and buying, so our future goals, right? This is your spread, okay? Couple of real quick terms, and if you have played pretty much any fantasy card game ever, these are probably
face down.
Face up. Okay, yeah, all face up. So this is you. This is your character, right? The cards that are on top that you can read, these are the phases of yourself that you are putting forth at the moment, right? This is how we all take on different roles in our lives, right? I'm an employee, I'm a GM here, I'm a son, I'm an uncle, right? When I'm sick, right? Like we always put forth these different kind of parts of our aspects. So think of that in this way in the spread, right? So they're all face up. You can see them all. You can access them all. Good times. Couple of quick terms. If the card is upright and you can read it, that is ready. Okay? When you exhaust a card, you turn it sideways. You can no longer read it. You can't use it. Okay? When I say, when an ability says to cycle a card, that means you take that card from the top, it goes to the bottom, and whatever the card underneath it was is now on top. With me so far?
Yes.
Maybe. I'm good. Follow
I have
along.
a feeling it'll make more sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Those are
On
just
board.
technical terms.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Here is the base mechanic of the game. To accomplish anything that has a chance of failing, you must roll a die under the appropriate stat.
Of the number we added up
Not the total number, on the cards.
on the card.
One.
Woof.
Yeah. Now,
Okay,
Whoa.
got it.
now, you'll notice that some of those numbers are very low.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I'm going to say I'm looking at my spread. All of my spread has ones for physical. In all the positions, right? And I have to jump across this river. That is a physical task. It's an easy task. It's a short river. We're talking Robin Hood Men in Tights river. Okay? I'm on the left side. I'm on the right side. If it is an easy task, the GM, the storyteller, assigns you a die. If it's the super easy task, it's a D4. If it's a really hard task, a near impossible task, he might assign you a D100. Right? Anytime an ability says it eases the difficulty, we tick that die down a step. Okay? The other thing you can notice is that if I was jumping my tiny Robin Hood Men in Tights river, I still only have one for any of those physical stats. Even on a D4, 3/4 of the time, I'm failing. Right? But I can use more than one card on a task.
So you commit multiple cards to a task.
So you roll first, and then you commit the number of cards you want. And when you commit a card to a job, to something you are doing, you exhaust it. You turn it sideways. Think of this if we were to use a D20 D&D system. The cards on the table, every time you exhaust one, it's like using an action. So you have your action, your bonus action, your reaction, and your movement. That's four of them.
If you have to exhaust 2 cards, that's 2 actions.
You could not use them until if we were like in initiative, you came back around to your turn, they all ready. You know what I mean? So are we vaguely making sense right now?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
As it comes into practice, it'll be easier to understand.
It makes sense in theory. I want to make sure that I'm on the right track once we get started. Yes.
That sounds great. Let's see if we can just shadow crawl before we shadow run to bring back an old
shadow tummy time.
Shadow tummy time. Let's give this a try. Okay. You guys are in a tavern. Yes, Matthew.
Michael did have a very good question. Each stack is supposed to have how many? We only have 10 cards, right?
We decide how many are in?
So we can decide how many are in each
It
stack?
should be as even as possible, but you can decide. There will be 2 stacks that have 2 extra cards.
Yes.
You will, you can decide which ones. That's totally up to you. Yeah.
Before we get started, like just for fun, because I feel like it gives the idea of the type of character we're playing.
Yeah.
Can everyone go through what your max endurance, focus, reputation, and mana are?
I'm genuinely curious about that too, because I have no idea.
So for me, for instance, I seem super not great at social when it's all tallied up. Like I have a lower chance of succeeding at social things for this because my social is only a 16. My max reputation is only a 16, right? But my max mana is 27. My max mana is 27 because I have several 5 arcane cards in my deck, right? So I have my max endurance is 23, my max focus is 22, my max reputation is 16, and my max mana is 27.
I thought I was coming out swinging with a 24.
I have 3 different zero-cost social cards in my deck. I am not a social person, and it's hilarious to me. Like, I'm very curious about this.
I think I may be a little OP.
What?
My max endurance is 29.
Holy shit!
My max focus is 31.
Oh my god!
My max mana 25.
Okay.
And my max rep is 29.
The fuck?
Okay, 24 is my highest.
I am a being of light. I am enlightened.
He rolled all 18s. Like that's what happened there.
So my max endurance is 21. My max focus is 24. My max reputation is 29, and my max mana is 32. So I'm also very magic-y, talky.
My max endurance is 24. That's my best thing.
Nice. Oh no.
Max focus is 23. Max reputation is 19, and my max mana is 19.
Actually, hold on. Do me a favor. Add up your wealth.
Oh right.
11.
7.
2.
I never wrote the wealth down, so.
So
you did tell us it wouldn't matter, but I have. Sorry, 7 wealth. I like it. I'm fine with it. I don't mind.
So just a peek behind the curtain on the cards, right? All the cards are designed to add up to 11. Is the total stat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Nice.
Including wealth. There are, I think, 1 or 2 exceptions. One exception is a card Michael has, which is Heaven Sent or Gift from Heaven, something like that.
I'm special.
Yeah, so he gets, I think, a 4 in all the stats on that card. but that card comes with no lineage benefits.
Yeah, I have loss of someone close. That's all of them add up to 3.
Oh my god.
That's not right.
See, this is why we play
This
test.
is why we play test.
Thank you all for doing that. Loss of what's it called? Loss of
someone close.
Loss of someone close. Yeah, arcane and physical. Arcane 1, social 1, mental 1, physical 0.
Hold
Wealth
on.
0.
Hold on. So that's where we're throwing things off.
That's why I'm so low.
Oh,
Pursued by Criminals is also missing it.
I thought it was like that, like the low one when I'm looking at the numbers because of what it is.
But it's got special abilities.
So, loss of someone close.
I mean, it's
this is what it says, right? The reason I put that down there is and maybe the word close here is kind of killing it. But the idea is that when someone that you care about, a party member, is in mortal danger, you can cycle this card and all of the cards on your spread and continue to act. So you basically get a second turn.
Nice. I assumed because some of these had text that the lower stats were evened out by the things we can do as opposed to the numbers.
9 times out of 10, the number is 11, right? And 9 times out of 10, it should all be the same. The couple of times where they are lower, they are that way specifically to compensate for what I thought would be a very powerful ability.
Mechanic, yeah, and that's awesome.
Pursued by Criminals, I think should have.
It adds up to 11. It's just that Arcane is 0.
Yeah.
But the rest of them
add
up.
Arcane is 0, but with wealth.
Academic is 4, 5, 6, 7 is the total on academic.
Academic.
No, it is not. It was not. It definitely. I wrote down a 0 because I think we were in the middle. You were in the middle of editing the card. Okay, my mental score is 4 on that.
Yeah.
Not 0. Don't know why.
Yeah. It should be 1 physical, 4 mental, 1 social, 4 arcane, and I think 1 wealth.
5 to 6 to 7, 28. So now I have a 28 max focus. Woo.
There you go.
Done.
So I was hoping to make it so that the numbers were vaguely close, so that if somebody added up all of your endurance, all of those, in theory.
Yeah. Well, let's do that then. Let's add up what our full total stats are and see how close we are to each other.
Yeah.
What?
Mine's staying the same.
Add your endurance and your focus and your reputation and all those together and see what.
All those numbers together.
Okay.
Yes, 20. So that would be 23 plus 28 plus 16 plus 27 for me. So 94.
Plus your wealth.
Plus your wealth.
Plus, thank you, wealth.
The wealth.
Plus.
Mine is 113.
Mine's 96.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 plus 7. So mine is 101. Matthew freeze for anyone else?
No.
No, but you then froze and then...
All of you froze for me, I realized. I only noticed Matthew because he was the one doing something actionable instead of just looking at his sheet.
Mine's 114.
113 and 114 seem closest. Mine is
It would make sense that he has 1 more.
Yeah,
mine's 96.
Yeah, so yours, Devil's Own Luck, gives you 7 stats away. And
yeah, because Devil's Own Luck is only 4.
And loss of someone close is 8 stats away. So that's 15.
In a way, which is
15 plus
98.
96 is 111.
Nice.
Mhm.
So close. Those penalties may be too high, though. I genuinely
We'll find out.
don't know.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't even know the context of it, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
Mine is also, I think, a little high because I think I have wealthy, and wealthy is high.
Yeah.
And 11, 12, 14. So I have a couple of them that are a little bit high. So that's also another reason why I have.
Wealthy is high? What is that?
Yeah, 5 wealth, 5
wealth.
social, 1 physical, 1 mental, 2 arcane.
It's arcane. Yeah.
Oh,
Wealth and
no.
social.
Okay, well, it should be 1, 2, 2, 1, 5.
1, 2.
1 physical, 2 mental, 2 social, 1 arcane, 5 wealth.
That's a very different number.
Yeah. Well, I also made these in a drugged up haze.
Yes, and no one's upset about that.
No, I know. I'm.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. Can you repeat that? It's 1 mental, or 1 physical.
Yep.
What mental?
2.
2 mental. How many social?
2.
Thank you. 1 arcane?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You said 2 social?
Mm-hmm.
1
Yeah.
arcane?
Yeah, it should. Yeah. So those are different between the two of you. One is Windfall of Wealth. The other one is Born
I'm
Wealthy.
editing the wealthy card. I'm
Yeah.
not looking
Oh,
at mine.
okay. Okay, great. Just making sure.
I'm looking at the wealthy card and I'm editing it. Nice.
Thanks for being here, Bard. We appreciate it.
Hi. You accidentally tagged me instead of Bald Bearded Bard.
Oh no.
Mike, I'm not Bald Bearded Bard. You know that, right? He's a very different
Now
person
you tell
than
me. Now
I'm
you tell me.
sorry. I know when I go blonde and my hair is this short, I look bald, but the beard is.
No.
I'm trying so hard.
111 should be the standard. Everybody.
It brings me to 109.
Then you're missing 2
Myself.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Which,
It's
yeah.
all good. We'll figure it out.
11 times 10 is 111, or
Yes.
110. So we should all be around 110. I understand Blondie got dealt a
Not
bad
me.
hand with those
I
two.
know where mine.
Blondie with my deficit.
I know where mine comes from. It's from Rival. Rival is a 10. Rival totals up to a 10 instead of an 11.
Nice.
No big deal.
Got it. Should total to an 11. The only ones I think that I made specifically sure didn't total to 11 were Devil's Own Luck.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the angel one with the super stats is, Heaven Sent.
Mm-hmm.
And loss of someone close. Because Devil's Own Luck gives you an automatic success for a mental trauma.
Yeah.
For a
mental and
nightmare.
Emotional wound.
Yeah, for an emotional wound. And loss of someone
19
close
seconds.
lets you rearrange your spread and take another turn. So
Gotcha.
those 2 things to me were like, that's pretty powerful. So great. We're in the vague area, right? Okay. Cool. Did you guys want to share the names of the cards that you had drawn and see if that gave some insight into you as a character?
Oh yeah, I like the way that you did, because like all of us, so like Cody built these for us, right? So being able to look at these and go, oh, interesting, this is what I am. So like I was given, my first 2 cards were Dwarven Community and Hell Touched, which gave my upbringing. So I need you all to visualize with me, not tiefling, a horned, winged, and tailed dwarf, which is fucking cool if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
This is some red lyrium shit, and I'm about it. But I am destitute and rural, something unexplained, academic, craftsman, and wealth feel like life events for me. Like those are like upbringing and life things that happened. Like I grew up rural and destitute. Something unexplained happened. I have wealth and academics and craftsmanship from like my career path is what it feels like.
Yep.
And then my classes are the last 2 cards. They are exorcist and one with nature. So I am a druidic exorcist. Which is, I am imagining now, this character is coming to mind, it's very evocative. I'm imagining if Indiana Jones had a whip made of a vine that was also on fire. I feel like I can garrote demons with it, and I have the wings and the horns, but I'm this short, chunky little, short-haired, if Brienne of Tarth was pocket-sized. Right? That's what I'm visualizing for my dwarf. And she's here to fuck you up. Not well, apparently, because I may have done my math wrong. But she is here anyway to try, and be real sassy about it. I don't have a name for her yet, but I love her, and I like the fact that the card names reflect my life I have been through, because if I understand correctly, the concept of this is, as you play this card game, it's a deck building RPG. So you'll add things as you come across and have adventures and whatever. So I would add cards into my deck as my adventure happened. So beginning of my story is all of the things that made me get to this point already. Backstory, build,
Correct.
Upbringing,
Yeah.
schooling, training, whatever, to get me there.
Yeah,
which
that
is really
is
cool.
the idea. Yep.
I like that as a concept a lot, and I'm glad I understood it because I tend to be the one who struggles. So I'm glad I got it. Next.
I'll go next because
Yeah,
reading
you will.
order. So I got a half elf, half human. I have human ingenuity and elven magic. The spread that I pulled based on the dice rolls is very, very magic-y. And so he's a wealthy military brat, is what it seems like. He has a friend and a rival. So maybe it's both, maybe they're different. Maybe. And then as it seems like after being like a wealthy military brat person, he left and became he tried to dabble in nobility and also entertaining. So I feel like it's very like whenever people would make a career of going to rich people's houses in like actual Earth history.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like just what people would do. You would just go to these people's houses and be an eccentric person. And that's very much what he seems like he was.
So you're Oscar Wilde.
Honestly. Yes. And then he has a penchant for being sneaky and also magic-y. So he's a spell slinger that can utilize some other magic to be able to be a little bit sneakier. And he has Shadow Walker, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah, can we talk about the fact that literally we all just looked at cards for characters we did not build, and we all started making up backstories and lives for them. Yeah. Like that to me is the mark of a good building mechanic. Cody, you should be very proud. First positive feedback of the game is that's spectacular. The idea that we could be dealt a bunch of cards by someone else, look at them and be like, I think I know what I am.
Yeah. I think that's really cool, and I think it's also really helpful in even just character building is having those ideas thrown at you. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's cool to just use those to create something.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Instead of sitting there like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Once I saw the different, the labels are so clear cut.
Yes.
But they're not defining enough. Yeah, they're not restricting. Exactly.
I got to decide where and how I did this and why and what she looked like, and I was not told no just then, so that's what she is. And it's a very nice creative because it feels storytelling heavy.
Yeah.
And
it feels more like prompts than
yes, that's it. It feels like prompts.
Dictated personality traits.
Just like with tarot.
And I like that.
Yes, because it's up to you to determine and interpret how tarot reads to you. So the idea that this spread is how I feel based on, I love it already.
And it's cool because, someone can be dealt similar cards and see something completely different,
vastly different
in their character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of you want to tell us
I'll
your
go
story?
next.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
So, just a quick rundown. What I have, my cards are labeled Human Tenacity, Heaven Sent, Bohemian, Loving Family, Owed a Favor, Injured, Devotee, Criminal, Tactician, and Weapon Master. And putting these all together, I realized that I am basically Michael Sheen and David Tennant characters from Good Omens combined.
Their child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it inspired the name Damien Valor.
Oh my god.
It's a good name.
That's so good.
It's a very good name. So there is a Michael, if you would do me a favor, add one more card.
Owed a favor, technically.
You are. You're going to add one more card to your spread. You can put it at the bottom of any stack. And what type of physical injury did you suffer? Because you suffered one. It is noted there. It is a defining moment in your history
Let me say I lost an eye.
Great.
I was thinking that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, okay. So
the sunglasses are not just for show. They're terrifying when you take them off.
It's a very warrior injury.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, the way injuries work is that, so a lot of our healing magic that we kind of associate with TTRPGs, those can heal endurance. When you drop to 0 endurance, you take an injury, or you fall unconscious. And an injury becomes a card that lives in your deck, in your spread. And when it pops to the top, it will have either no stats or negative stats, because it's my trick knee acting up, right? It's.
So am I simply writing a card that says,
yeah,
eye loss?
Yeah, bad eye.
Loss of eye?
Yeah, bad eye.
Okay.
One less eye, and you can put that,
Minus one eye.
minus one eye, right?
He's half blind.
Inventory.
Sir. Oh, then he only saw
Minus
half.
one eye.
Inventory.
There are also other types of. So every category has their own type. For every stat, there are injuries, right? So all the physical injuries are the ones we would recognize, but a concussion may also be a mental injury, right? Where and it can be loss of focus, it can be getting distracted, it can be blacking out, right? Those things describe mental injuries. Emotional traumas or things that would inhibit one from socializing and being productive, or things that can pop up, those would be social injuries, even though they may not come from a social source, right? Doubt, fear, those are also sort of social injuries. These are things your character can overcome, but when you gather them, they 9 times out of 10 will have a negative on them, and that'll reduce your maximum endurance, focus, reputation, all of those things. That is the checks and balances system, so that as you add cards, if you are also adding negatives in there, your numbers don't spike insanely. That's the hope, right? And the other hope is that people aren't always adding cards, that you are actually exchanging them, right? So there's like a level 2 Shadow Walker, right? And you get all the Shadow Walker benefits of level 1 and something else that's cool, and all those stats are like 1 up, right?
Sure.
So it's more of a gradual increase. Blondie, last but not least, please tell us about your character.
I got Devil's Own Luck, which is a knot thief.
Yes.
Elven Grace, so I would assume like half elf, knot thief. I got Socialite and City.
So you grew up in the city and you were a socialite. Sounds like.
Okay, princess. All right.
Socialite little thing. But then I have, which is fun because I think these two could tie together: loss of someone close and pursued by criminals. And then I got Soldier and Watcher of the Wilds. So I would like to assume she went off to be a soldier to escape and try and get away. And then that didn't work, so she went to be a Watcher of the Wilds. And then I have Hunter and Street Scrapper. So kind of went into more of a roguish lifestyle after that.
I love the picture that all of these spreads paint of us.
Yeah.
Right?
I also really like that because of the way that they worked with them being 2 in each category, that some of us were able to combine them into I did these 2 things at the same time for a larger portion of my life. Whereas
then,
like Blondie was like, I tried to be a soldier, that didn't work, so I tried to be a Watcher of the Wild, but they both still influenced me enough to be in my spread. I just think that is a really cool way to be able to like have different levels of longevity in people's backstories.
Yeah.
It's just really
also,
neat.
I just noticed that every one of us except for Cody is wearing glasses, and I feel like it's unacceptable. Cody, put on glasses right now.
If we lost my glasses
I know
long
we
ago.
lost them. Hey, Michael,
I can take mine off and be blind, it's fine.
Solidarity.
I have my display settings at like old lady giant font,
so you're fine anyway.
fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, I like how unique all of these, because like I could have very well read my cards as destitute and rural because my family chose to be poor and studious, right? Like I could have, how I choose to read these things is so open to interpretation. Like Matthew and I could have both pulled destitute and rural, and his could have been because he was a poor orphan, and mine could have been because my parents took an oath of poverty when in the Druidic church, and I was raised in that. I was forced to be raised like that, you know? It could be 2 very different ways of achieving the same stat card, essentially. And I really like that. I like that this breeds creativity in a very unique way.
A lot. This tickles every creative bit in my brain.
Same.
For sure.
I like that, you know, you can interpret Heaven Sent as someone who has like a pure altruistic attitude about them, or they truly believe that much of their own hype.
Actually. I am
very, very
God's
vain.
gift to humanity.
Exactly,
This song is about me. Thank you so much. I don't think this song is about me. I fucking know it.
I know it,
So, yeah. I like it so much. I like the build. I like the way that the spreads work. Cody, how do you feel about them?
You guys have
Their playtest.
doing great. Yeah, no.
Okay.
You've really hooked on and picked up with what I'm hoping is the ease of entry point, right? Yeah. To build a character, you just get dealt some cards. Or if you wanted to look at them in a category, right, and be like, oh, this sounds cool and this sounds cool, right? And you pull 2. Then you look at the next category, you pull 2, and you look, you know what I mean? So you can kind of, at a glance, I'm hoping, get a feel of who and what you want to be.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems to have, that part seems to have worked very well.
Nice.
Would you like to tell us how you decided each card for us?
Ooh, yeah.
So I
Please.
I took Caitlin's rolls as is, I believe.
Because I did it first.
And then I had some duplicates. So I think Blondie was originally, she was second. She had the
I had Dwarven Community as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I took Dwarven Community out and I swapped in the
re-rolled.
Elven. Yeah, re-rolled. You got to re-roll. You re-rolled.
Yeah, I re-rolled and got that 10.
Yep.
So the process was that you asked us first all to roll 10
D10.
D10.
10
And you have a
D10s.
chart, right, Cody? You have a
Yeah.
you have a chart?
So essentially the idea is that there are 5 categories. There are 10.
I'm gonna share it in the chat.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 cards in every category. So if we were at a table, right, I would pick up the first category, which is your lineage, and I would deal everybody 2 cards, right? Because we went with a roller, we can have duplicates. We don't want duplicates. I'm substituting things out to make sure that we can playtest more stuff.
So I'm looking at page 1, for instance, on our spread right now. So it was Origin, species that has the stuff, whatever.
Yep.
All of those things, and then upbringing, and then life events, and then occupation, and then adventuring style, which is the style bonus that you're going to give us later. That's not a stat we have folded in yet. Oh no, street scrapper, tactician, hunter. Yes, it is.
Yep.
So yeah, but that like sort of stuff like that is very cool. So you can see on page 1 of our little opening cards for character creation spreadsheet there, for those of you following along in the Discord, that there it is. Cool.
Yes. So that is how kind of started with these words, these ideas, looking at different parts of a person in a character development, right? In a RPG character style, right? And these are all sort of ingredients that go into it. Usually, if we're talking
the character soup.
Yeah, usually if we're talking characters, you want to be a fantasy something, you probably aren't human, right? But I thought it would be interesting if there were more half-breeds, and if there was more, it was more cosmopolitan, and that there were more greater potential for instance a hell-touched dwarf, right? Which isn't something that that other games do. And what I am very proud of is that so for instance, Hell Touch comes in 2 cards, right? One literally is Hell Touch.
Because we both have, both Blondie and I have a Hell Touched element.
But we have different cards.
But you have different cards and different abilities.
I was going to point that out. That out.
Same thing with, it's across the board. Same thing with elves. So finding the part of a archetype or a character idea that you want to draw on, I think is kind of like if you weren't dealing them randomly, if I laid all these out, somebody would look at the words and go, ingenuity, yeah man, absolutely. Or like, oh, a character with a bunch of community, I'm about that. Or oh, Hell Touch sounds gnarly, let's
Sounds dope.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Also, the difference between like Hell Touched and Devil's Own Luck.
Yeah.
Like both of those are from the same thing, but paint very, very different pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
Different
that,
pictures.
Of
One
what
paints
that
a picture.
type of lineage is. Yeah.
One paints a picture of a mechanic, whereas one paints a picture of a look to me.
Yeah.
Like Hell Touched feels like people look at me and go, that's a demon child. Whereas Devil's Own Luck paints a picture of, she has some mechanics that work very well in her favor. Like, just off the top of my head, like that's how they sound to me. Like they're both evocative in different ways.
I would love to get to a place with the more traditional fantasy races that are as evocative as those, right? Those to me are very, I'm very proud of those. I like grace and magic, right? But like how do you describe an elf in like a super cool way? You know what I mean? Like, you know, whistling wind of the winter wall, right? You know, it has to be like it gets weird. So yeah, you guys bought in and have enjoyed the very first step, and that I am super excited and proud of. Now let's see if I can make the rest of it kind of churn along, right? So you guys are here. I'll read you my sassy opening, and then so what we'll do is this: I'll read you my sassy opening. We'll take a very quick 5-minute break. When we come back, we'll be in a city in a tavern. And I'm going to let you guys please try to like just do stuff, right? Try to go somewhere. You can make it up. Whatever you say, I'll be like, yeah, it happens. Here's how we figure out if it works, right? May try a little combat, may try some spell casting. We have some names for things, and we have some things that don't have names that we're going to write down as we go. Okay? Cool. So, let the sass begin. Where to go? Oh yeah, Matthew, you're gonna love this.
I'm very excited.
I know you
You're
are.
looking for sass. Pick these right there.
Yeah.
Listen, I looked over his shoulder. I read this because he asked me to, and I was like, "Fucking go for it, babe!" Like, just go.
And so it was that the world that once was devoured itself. In the end, it was not the drifting dangers of gods beyond the pale, nor the machinations of the infinite hells, nor could the wildest ambitions of king or dragon hope to match the force that felled low the world before. No, in the end, it was the greed of wizards that ruptured what was once reality, leaving all but the chosen special few in a world of dull, lifeless gray. See, good reader, it was not enough for those mystical magisters of myth to own every spell that shaped the lands. Oh no. Those wizards without wisdom were not content owning the cities or the lands, the monsters or the magics, the very heavens and the realms beyond. In the end, they demanded to own the very dreams and stories of all that dared to dream, too close to the wizard's domain. The sleep of mad myth makers broke apart at the seams. Wild, wonderful, and weird ideas fled for fear that should they stay, should they dare to be spoken or shared, that those wizards of greed would claim ownership and so collect every domain. But it was there on the edges, where long ago some had dared to dream outside of the sharp-angled box. It was here where the world saw glimmers of color shimmering beyond the horizons. And it was here that we begin our tale. So, we are going to take a very quick break.
I said, God damn, Cody Stone!
That was so good.
Thank you.
Broke, Matthew. Broke. Gone.
So good.
That's how you really
So
feel.
good.
I had to put the paper in front so I couldn't see, because I knew if I saw Matthew, I would not be able to get through it.
I'm watching the different reactions. He broke.
Uh-huh.
I was just like,
It's my favorite thing because it's obviously very meta, but also God, it's
what do you mean?
it's a very just like in lore wizard.
Yeah.
To be like,
yes.
There's so many layers to that.
oh God,
There are
it's just so
many
good.
layers.
Which,
So good.
destroyed by their own hubris.
Yes.
yeah. Which is sort of, it's a classic trope, wizards and hubris and greed. So I'm happy to play on that, and it's part of what's informed the description of the magical classes, right? We don't have a wizard, we have a rune reader and a spell slinger, right? Like it is different because of that. So let's take like a 5-7 minute break, and we will be back in just a few. And until then, stay tuned.
Damn it, Matthew.
Welcome back, everybody. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have
Matthew.
I'm Michael.
I'm Pixie.
I'm Blondie.
There we go.
We did it.
We're playing.
Yeah.
We're playing. We're playtesting my
World
tabletop RPG that I've been working on called Decks of Destiny.
Also, hi, Ravnos. Welcome in,
Hello,
buddy.
Ravnos.
How was your stream? I hope it was good, Matthew. So Ravnos is going to at some point while I'm in Kentucky and we therefore have to down vamp. Is gonna play with you guys in a mage game. Cody's gonna run.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thanks, there it is. There it is.
Can't wait to shape the earth itself with magic, because magic in the world of darkness is wild.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking about that
sure
last night in Sway's WoW chat, and that's why he was like, "You're gonna send my button pusher into mage," and I
Oh,
was
I'm
like,
so
"I
excited.
am!"
I can't
Like,
I can't wait.
It'll be
yeah,
a
it's gonna
joy.
be great. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, let's try to push a couple of buttons here. All right.
Woo!
You guys, welcome. You've looked over your spreads. I've explained the very basics of getting anything done in this game, and so we are going to begin our tale, much as the prologue had said, here in the city of the Seven Sovereigns. Right? It is a large, multi-tiered city, and there are, as the name would imply, 7 sovereigns. 7 people that are in charge. They all are in charge of a wide variety of things, but they usually tend to run a specific aspect of the city, right? There is somebody in charge of the military and the police. There's somebody in charge of all the artists. There's somebody in charge of all the crafters. There's somebody in charge of all the banks. There's somebody in charge of blah, blah, blah. You are finding yourselves on the lower-ish end of the socioeconomic ladder, and you guys are hanging out in a wonderful little tavern that is brightly lit and rowdy about the night, and it is called Lives Free. The Lives Free Tavern. And you're somewhat regulars here. Odesta is the barkeep. She's a human dwarf hybrid that is stands a little taller than most dwarves, and is back behind the bar. She has a brother and a couple of kids that help run the place. No husband to speak of. She doesn't really speak of him at all, and people that ask don't get asked back. So we've learned to let that one go. You guys, since this is our playtest, you have cards that have abilities on them, or at least names of potential abilities, thoughts and ideas of them, right? There is a here in Lives Free, there is a wonderful fighting pit that they drop monsters in that people will occasionally fight in to earn fame, reputation, and money. There are lots of other things sort of around. You all know each other. You like each other. We're skipping through that part. Congratulations. Well done. And so you are here. It is this. Your wealth score for assessment is about the gold you have on you. And you have some property, some investments, some assets. If you have a wealth score of 20, right? And you lose all of your 20 gold, you can decrease your wealth score to 19 and get 19 more gold pieces. So an 11 to a 7 is exponentially more than the other one, right? But that means you're liquidating assets. You are selling off things that
whereas I have nothing to sell with my 7 wealth.
Yeah. So you're pretty low. Like,
so I'm in the fighting pit, by the way. Just like
for
entry point.
Great.
I'm not the strongest amongst us by a lot. However, I can get hit hard and not lose focus because my max focus is my highest score. And you can take the dwarf the dwarf had not tiefling out of the mines, but you cannot take the mines out of the dwarf hell touched. She is feisty.
Yeah, they call them double Ds. They're devil dwarves.
Devil dwarves? Oh my god. And she's got them too. She's got huge tracks of mighty.
She's a double D.
She's a double D where it counts, alright? Everywhere it counts. Determination, D's jugs.
Dedication.
Dedication. She's just listen, my name is gotta be, I was gonna have a D related name now but I forgot the Damien. I'm
Why
gonna
not just call yourself Dee?
Because I can't hear it without Dexter's Laboratory in mind, so I'll never be able to take myself seriously. And Cody has a table rule. If you can't get through your own name without laughing, you can't play that character.
True. That's true.
Given to us by
one of my
Bing Bong.
few.
Thank you, Kat.
Yeah.
So we had Kat and Ryan, their first game, she was like, I'm gonna play a Kenku, and her name is Kenku Chicken, and her name is Bing Bong, and she couldn't get through a fucking sentence with her own name without laughing. But we all would have died for that chicken.
Yep. And that was when I was like, I have very few table rules, That one is one of them now. If you cannot say your own character's name without laughing and losing your shit, you can't play that character. I'm sorry.
One day, I will really toe the line on that rule.
That's
and we'll figure it out.
But
no, you just wear a mask in character as a choice, and then he won't see when you break.
Yeah.
Welcome. I'm a genius.
I'll hear it. I'll hear it. I'll know.
Wow, no.
Great.
It's all in the eyes.
So.
Name to come.
Name to come. What is it?
What a weird name.
Nemeto. Yeah. Nemeto Nemeto. That's your name now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's name to come. Nemeto.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Stop it.
Oh, yeah. The DM skills are strong with this one. You give me a word and I will break it.
I didn't give you the word. You took the word, you thief. Isn't that what we're fighting against? Thieving wizards. Don't be them. Don't become the thing you hate.
A wizard?
I'm not thieving anything. I'm giving you a name. Nemeto.
I don't want that name. I'm not taking it.
You can change it later.
They move.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but really, I have naming anxiety. Please don't give me a
No.
name.
I don't. Yeah, you're fine. I'm just teasing. I'm playing. You can change your name. Whatever.
I know. I'm just telling you before it sticks in that it
Got
won't
it.
cause trauma.
That's fine. You're in the fighting pit. Congratulations. Well done getting there. What would you like to be fighting, and what would you like to be fighting with?
I would very much like to have a regular, I would like to have, because I have the exorcism thing.
Okay.
But that's a debuff thing here, not like I pull the demons out of you.
Sure.
Or is that like thematically still what?
I think that would probably be so that would be in theme, and that would maybe be like a higher, a higher card. So the exorcist idea currently is, removing positive effects from enemies and removing negative effects from allies.
Can we talk about the way that Kat is looking at Blondie like she loves her more than anything in the world, by the way?
Very
she was
cute.
just staring up at you, and it was the cutest
was
thing I'd
very
ever seen in
cute.
my life. I got very distracted by it.
She's actually very hating me right now.
But she was looking real precious for us. I would like to fight. I would like to have a recurring rivalry with someone in the ring.
Sure.
Our powers just complement each, like fighting style wise. It is a familiar type rivalry. So if I am like that druidic exorcist who is using nature to pull things and a reverse venom, if you will, let me pull the toxins out of you and make it look like that, or put them in you. I would like it to be the antithesis of me. I would like it to be something in the ring that both of us are like.
That sounds lovely, and I love that idea, but that is going to send me on a spiral. So let's pick something just simple.
His name is Kevin.
Great.
And he sucks.
Awesome. Kevin?
His name is Kevin and he sucks.
Kevin sucks bad.
Fucking hate Kevin.
Fucking Kevin, man.
And
Absolutely.
that is the war cry in
Kevin.
the fighting pit there is fuck you, Kevin. Fuck you, Kevin.
Well, actually, let's pretend we are in our initiative here, and that you want to get that chant going, right? You're gonna play to the crowd.
Why are you making me roll my socials immediately? No, it's my lower.
I didn't make you roll anything. You wrote a story where people were cheering against somebody you wrote this tale.
With Kevin.
Just against them.
Okay.
Just against them. Okay?
So here is the deal.
Done that yourself.
Kevin, we've established sucks.
Sucks.
Right? We all hate everybody here hates Kevin. Should be pretty easy to get them to cheer against Kevin. So, I'm going to say, would you make me a D6 social test?
As soon as I find a D6, yes, because I thought one was an easy reach and it wasn't. I found one. None of those are a D6. Why do I have every D12 in the world and not a single fucking I found one. Okay. I have
That was a journey.
I have 8 D12s in front of me, guys.
Suckies.
D6. I swear to God, I thought it said 7. It said 4. I was like, how did I do? How bad am I in social that I broke? 4.
The dice.
So 4. So let me see if I get this mechanic before you telling me.
Great.
I have in front of me a 0 social, a 2 social, a 1 social, and a 2 social. I can exhaust 2 of these cards with the social cost to equal up to 4 in order to make this. Does beat it here in these situations. So I only need 4. I don't need to like exceed 4.
Nope. You
Okay.
only need
So,
4.
In order to exhaust them, I turn the 2 cards, just the top ones, not the whole deck.
Just the top ones.
Just the top ones. Exhaust.
Yep.
Hell touched. I am a destitute hell touched. And for story reasons, I am gaining the pity of the audience.
Okay.
Because
great.
those are the 2 cards I fucking used, and you better believe I'm gonna storytell with what these cards are. She looks and she's like, all right, pretty rich boy, right, with your blonde hair and your perfect face and your wealthy house on the hill. You just had everything handed to you, didn't you? I had to work for what I earned, isn't that right? And she like, with this face and this body, and like, she's like hyping up the fact that she looks weird and that she was raised poor. Fuck you, white man. Like, that is her attitude.
The
Fuck you,
dusty
white
roads of dwarven women.
There you go.
You're
Yep.
welcome. All right.
So you have 2 cards remaining that are readied. Is there anything in particular you would like to attempt to do with those 2 remaining cards? It should be noted that if you wanted to have like a reaction
Yeah.
or make some special effort to defend yourself, you would need a ready card. So holding a card ready in reserve, not always a bad thing. It's not always a waste. But which card it is?
Given the cards in front of me at present,
Yep.
because I know the risk is if I roll under, I'd have to spend both. I'm assuming, right? Or fail, or choose to fail.
Or fail.
So, like, exactly. So I am going to use the highest card I have here. So there's less of a chance of failure.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pick to do something easy because I know you said you get to pick how hard the task is.
Right.
I'd like to not have to roll a d10. I would like to, if I know Kevin for a while,
Yeah.
I would like to, I also like to think that this is planned between the 2 of us. We're actually good friends. He just sucks.
Okay.
We're friends because we have to be. Like, it's just like, all right, buddy, we'll split the profits of the whatever. So I would like to see if I can't use my arcane to do a what?
Keep going.
I would like to attack him with magic.
Great. That sounds good. You would like to attack him with magic.
Done. Yes.
Wonderful.
I was gonna get a little too complicated. I was like, no, attack with magic. We don't have official spell stuff
So-
that I know yet.
So look on the
Yeah.
you're not going to have it on the exorcist.
No.
It may be on the
It'll
one
be
with
the-
nature.
Yes.
Look at the words that are there because I have
One with
ideas for what
nature.
those do.
One with academony, one with nature. Where the fuck? Hold on. One with nature. Channel nature's power. Healing touch, invigorating word, mend the broken body, roses, thorns. Ease the troubled mind, swallowed by the earth, gripped by nature, gather the storm, flow and crash. I like the idea of swallowing him by the earth.
Great.
I think that's fun.
That sounds great.
I
Sounds
like the
very dwarven.
flavor of he cannot lunge at me. I imagine him as a swordman, and now he cannot move to get to me.
That is a great idea. I am on
Okay.
board with this.
go.
We're gonna go step by step. Okay.
Let's
Because
do it.
bless my wife, she was like, "What's the first thing I want to do? I want to cast a spell."
You thought it was going to be Matthew, and I was not going to give either of you the satisfaction.
No.
Listen, man, that's fair.
So
Matthew will still find a way to make you make new rules. I'm just breaking down some barriers. So by the time it gets to him, it won't be new.
So
Remember?
D6.
Got it.
Roll it.
Thank God. A 1. I have 5. Do I just hit it really hard? I have 5
So-
arcane on this card.
Yes, which is so here's the deal.
Oh, I can pick.
You can pick.
I
And here
am.
now is when you would
am.
let me talk. That would be good.
I am.
Okay. The effect of a spell is determined by the total arcane that is exhausted and by the mana you spend on the spell. You have rolled your arcane check. You have succeeded. You can also, if you would like to add verbal components, make a social check. If you would like to add somatic components, make a physical check. Or if you would like to add material components, make a mental check. To increase the base arcane of this spell by
Would that exhaust
that
another card?
Yes.
Then no.
Okay.
I'd like to save a reaction card. I would just like to do some stuff.
Okay. Great.
My inner turmoil now is, since we don't know how the game works, do I save the card that has the higher mental, or do I save the card that has the higher physical? Because reactionary-wise, I don't know which stat's going to come in handier, and this is exciting for me. I'm going to save the card with the higher mental, and I'm going to spend my 5 arcane card on this. So 5 is my arcane.
Great. So,
Exhaust.
yes.
I turn it to the side.
Yes, you do. Nicely.
I did.
Nicely done. Would you like to add any mana to this?
No, because I would that would mean I'd have to exhaust the last card, right? You said that I'd make
No.
a check.
You can.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
So you can add mana just after you successfully cast the card. Very
Oh, right,
few
then
things.
yes.
Very few
Yes.
things target your mana. When you are out of mana, you can't cast spells.
Got it. So, but there's no mana leech. I'm not.
There
gonna,
are
like,
some
leave
things
for
that
other-
mana leech, but they are more rare.
That's
than-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then I would like to spend 7.
The Exorcist, in fact, I believe, has one. Has a
course
mana
I do.
leech ability.
I would like to use 7, so my current mana is 20 instead of 27.
Great. So you cannot exceed whatever your arcane score that you've spent on it is.
5, so I can only spend 5.
Correct.
So I'll spend 5.
Yep. So if you want to do more, you have to spend more effort.
Spend multiple cards.
Spend
Got
more
it.
cards, right?
Understood.
Takes more of your turn to make spells bigger, and that
Perfect.
exceeds the limit that you can
I like
do with it. Okay.
I like it.
For simplicity's sake, the damage dealt on this spell, you are going to restrict his movement. So
Yeah.
the earth begins to sink. His legs get caught in there. He is going to take 10 points of damage.
Yay.
Okay. And he will have to he'll have to make an effort to get out of it, to break free.
So his max endurance has just dropped. His current endurance.
His current endurance has dropped by 10.
Thank you. All right, cool.
God.
Amazing. And I have a card left for a reaction if I need it.
Awesome. Monsters operate a little differently. They have a threshold, just like you. When they take a wound, and you're basically counting the number of wounds that they need to be defeated. So they do not all have to be physical. Some people may be immune to emotional or mental or
Or extra sensitive to it, I think would be very funny.
exactly, right?
Well, I'm very sensitive to emotional abuse in this game.
Right.
I'll be sad. Don't tease me, please and thank you.
Great.
Hello, Devil's Own Luck.
Yeah. So Kevin, on his monster turn,
Alright.
Kevin is a relatively simple enemy. you would normally be able to beat him. I would have in my deck for my Kevin card, basically the things that his normal tactics, the things he would try to do, right? So very simply, he's probably a showman and a swordsman, so we flip over a couple of cards. He is going to use one of those to escape from the earth. So you're going to make a resistance check. It's an arcane check. It's you. It's you trying to hold on to your spell.
Okay, I was prepared for the mental check, but all right. Hi, Kat. That's the one who made us make new table. They were trying to give us a name that we would say and laugh through.
Yeah.
So we talked about how you're the reason we can't do that anymore.
There you go.
All right. So I just make a mental arcane check. D6.
Yep.
It's on the floor. And roll again. Come here. Oh my god. Fuck. Shit. So my score on my one remaining is a 4.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
So
I failed that.
Yeah. So he breaks free.
Nice.
And
okay, cool.
And he is going.
And I exhaust that card?
Nope. You don't have to exhaust
okay,
it.
Cool.
Because that's a part of your previous action.
So should I have tested the arcane of the one that made the spell check?
No.
The one that's left is
that
still the
that
one
may make more sense, but that was not my original intent.
Okay,
So
okay.
for now, we keep going.
Because if I did the one that cast it, which is like
right, it would have
succeeded. Okay, interesting.
Okay. So let's say it succeeds. He's trapped in place. Okay. He's having trouble getting to you, but Kevin is a very adept axe thrower. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
So you watch him drop the sword, he pulls an axe out, rears back and sends it whizzing towards you. I would need you to make a physical resilience check.
Again, this is the card that I have left over.
This is the card.
It's a reaction.
This is the card you have left over.
If I had no cards, I would just get hit.
If you had no cards, we would still roll it. But it would be against a stagnant number. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out.
So he is good at this. So let's make it a D8.
Oh, I failed anyway, even with the D6, but I'll try. I still failed.
Okay.
I had 1 on this physical card left over.
Fantastic.
Because the card I left standing was academic.
Sure. Yeah. You are wearing armor? Is it heavy armor? Is it light armor? What type of clothes is she wearing? And I can just tell you.
Let me double check. Oh, what type of clothes is she wearing?
Yeah, you just tell me what she's wearing.
I'm imagining that she wears it's the Dragon Age leather studded armor.
Okay, great.
It's got the skirt, it's got the leg room,
Great.
It's got the but again with them double D's, it's just a bra on the top. It's just a leather bra on the top because
So,
the interesting fan art.
Yeah.
So you reduce the damage by 4.
Okay.
Okay. And this would be written on the monster. I'm going to say it's 8 points of damage.
Okay.
You reduce it by 4.
So my endurance, I take 4 points then.
Goes down by 4.
So Correct. I go from a 23 to a 19?
Correct.
It's the fastest math I've ever done in my life.
There you go.
It's good.
Nicely done.
Not good at math, thank you.
I think for like defense against things, for rolling resistance, one of the stats I should have on the
like a base.
on that central stat card, and I meant to put it on there, would be what is your highest physical number
on any of your cards?
All of your cards?
Yeah. What is your highest in that, and that's probably your resistance.
Or what if it was
Nice.
your? It's a little bit more math, but your average, because people who are, because like I have a 4.
Right.
I'm not a physical person.
Your average would probably be the better way to, or just if we want to make it simpler, what's your highest and your lowest, and we can average that.
And average those two. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are out of cards, you are rolling against that number.
Nice. Okay. And now I exhaust this last card because I used it.
Yeah, and that way, there's a motivation to hold on to a card, but there's also motivation to spend it. Because if the academic, for instance, has a 1 in physical, you having a better chance with your flat 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I
Also,
mean?
Exhaust. Yeah, I would have a better chance with flat 3. Also, I'm realizing the possibility of exhausting just to get rid of cards that are low all around or that I need.
So there is a I was waiting for somebody to ask about this.
Hello.
There is a mechanic called cycling, and the way you cycle is it takes you exhausting a card, and you can cycle any exhausted cards that are up.
Nice.
So it basically takes an action, and anything that you've already used, or you can cycle.
All right.
But you can't cycle. It basically gets you ready for next turn. In the fiction of it, it's you taking a moment, looking around, and going, "I'm going to change my plan," and that's how you cycle cards, right?
Gotcha.
So,
for instance, Pixie would have said, I have used 3 of my cards.
Yep.
I have 1 that is unused. I would like to exhaust that one to be able to cycle top and right.
she can, or all 4.
Or all 3 of them, or all 4 of them.
Yep.
Even the one that she used to exhaust to
Because
be able to
it's
cycle.
exhausted. Yep.
Gotcha. Neat.
Interesting.
I like it.
Okay.
Picasso.
All right.
Picasso.
Yeah. All right.
So-
So my turn is done.
Your turn is done. Who else is in this fighting pit? Because this is what we're doing now. Might as well jump in.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'll be there. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Of course.
Why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's all jump in.
Yeah, you guys can all be in there.
Oh, no.
No. All right, that's fine.
Oh, fuck that guy. Shit. I gotta get in there.
I do not.
Okay, no
lower
fighting pit for you.
myself Such a
Wow.
such a
Maybe you're the one I should be fighting. What kind
barbarian.
of fucking attitude is that, Damien?
Listen, my money's on you. I'm not an idiot.
Fucking better
There you
be.
go.
All right.
All right.
So, Matthew or Blondie, what would you get? Who would like to go first?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Okay,
there you go.
sure.
Great.
I volunteer. You.
Right, yeah.
He said he jumped in first, so.
Fair enough. I am going to taking some inspiration from the cards that I have laid up. One of them is Entertainer, so I think I'm going to hearing the crowd beginning to chant.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna kind of yell out to the crowd, almost like in a showmanshipy way, and also then back to Kevin. Oh shit, you don't have a name. You all have seen all of our continued fights with this dastardly Kevin, and he would dare throw an axe at unnamed friend here? Come with me, cheer with me, boo Kevin! And I want to continue this chant
Boo
that
this
everybody
man.
is.
Great.
that everybody has begun against Kevin.
Make
I
a
have a question.
Yeah.
Can you help
Um.
someone with that?
Yes.
Do we have assistance mechanics?
Yes. So you can help. The way help would work is the same way you would. So let me talk through it this way. The crowd is already against Kevin. You're trying to get them even more against him. So
Well,
let's.
I kind of want
That's
to
fine.
like almost hurt Kevin mentally.
Awesome.
Like be
And-
like a fuck you, Kevin.
Yeah,
You're the worst.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and I agree with that. That's what we're going with. It'll deal emotional damage to him. But to get him
Yes.
to get it
Emotional damage.
but to get it to go that far, we're going to make it hard. We're going to roll a d20. Okay?
Oh.
So, go ahead and roll it.
You got it.
Her name is Valkyrie, by the way.
I rolled a 1.
Great. You would have succeeded. Absolutely fine. Please roll again so I can use this as an example.
Absolutely, yes. I was wondering how then I rolled a 16, so say I rolled a 16
Great,
first.
that's fine. So a 16, what is your social stat?
I have a 4, a 3, a 4, and a 1.
So a
I
4.
My highest is a 4.
So a 4, a 3, and a 1, right? So you could get 8, 11, 12. You can't get there by yourself. But if Blondie wants to contribute one of her, by helping, she's exhausting one of her cards and adding her stat onto that stat block to make something happen, right?
I will absolutely help.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go ahead and with that. So with that 16, that gets I'm up to a 12. So I'll go ahead and exhaust all 4 of mine.
Great.
I have a 5.
Perfect.
That would get me up to 17. So we can. Fuck you, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. And so on the D20, what is the highest social stat used was 5.
5 because
of
Blondie.
5 because of the group, right? So he has a very low reputation threshold. Everybody hates Kevin anyway, so we'll say that 5 is probably enough for him to take that threshold, take that emotional wound, right?
And
so,
as with spells, am I able to add reputation to my mental damage, to my social damage, or no?
I would say in a certain setting. So like in a court where we are in like a law court or a royal court, in settings where you are purely debating and fighting with words and ideas, then you could use that. But
gotcha.
in for the most part, that's another hit pool, kind of.
Sure.
Right. So that's a teamwork 1 right there. Teamwork move. Nicely done. Okay. Blondie, you have 3 ready cards. What would you like to do?
Oh, jeez. I'm still working out how this works. So with I have the Watcher of the Wilds card.
Yeah.
It says you know the tools of the trade.
Great.
Is that in any way helpful in this situation?
I imagine you being a woodsman, somebody that works in the wilds, you would be very familiar with, campsites, bedrolls, hunting, fishing, perhaps the weapons that are necessary, bows, blades, things like that.
Would I be able to throw a knife?
100%. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, a ranged attack is a little different than a melee attack. A ranged attack is both mental and physical. So, you're going to roll 1 die. Now, here's the thing. Kevin is normally, his physical stat is an 8. That means anytime somebody's trying to affect him physically, you're rolling an 8 and trying to get underneath it, right? Okay. He is held. He is bound. He is trapped in the stone. So we ease that at least to a 6. Now I'm going to say we're going to ease it to a 4 because he is really stuck in there. He tried to escape. He didn't get any further. So he is at a 4, okay? So you roll a d4.
A 3.
Fantastic. Is there a card in which you have a physical and mental 3?
Yes.
So you could exhaust that 1 card and hit with the ranged attack.
Okay.
Now,
awesome.
Because aiming is mental, right? It's calculating the movement, its distance, wind flow, all the sniper bullshit that comes in there. And then the physical act of actually having to do it, right? So that's how those work. Now, sometimes you won't have them on one card. You'll have them on two separate cards. So it's
And
a
then
little
you would
more.
exhaust.
You would, if you wanted to hit, you would exhaust both, or you could
Okay.
just fail and exhaust one if you really needed that card to do something else. Right? Does that make sense?
Well, I have a card that has a 3 on both.
Fantastic. Yeah. You have a 3 and you rolled a 3.
Yes.
Perfect. You are a hunter, right?
Yes.
Is your hunter card up?
No.
Then we will talk about that later.
Okay.
Nicely done. So, physical damage, right? Damage is calculated by the stat, your physical stat, that is exhausted, right? Plus the weapon. A dagger is a light weapon. It is plus 2. So what physical did you exhaust?
3.
So you dealt 5 points of damage.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Nice and simple, right?
Cool.
You have 2 cards left. There are some more complicated attacks that we can get into if you are interested. What else would you like to do?
I think that would be it
Okay.
for me.
Okay. Do you want to cycle any of your cards? Yeah. New RPG system.
So that would just be putting it back underneath.
Yeah, so you would have a new card on top. Basically, if you had a card up that you didn't like the stats of, or you didn't think you were going to utilize, for instance, if you had Devil's Own Luck, we know it has super low stats, but it has that ability on it. If you're like, oh man, I should hold on to that ability because we're in trouble, you may want to keep it on top. But if you're like, oh, this isn't that important, if we lose, I'm not going to give myself nightmares in order to bail us out.
Yeah.
Then you may want to cycle that card.
I don't think so.
Great. That's fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Michael, you are not in the pit. What would you like to do? You're also not...
I figured we could try and see how these mechanics work socially.
Great.
I was about to be like, are you just gambling out there? Are you just like placing bets out there? You said my money's on you.
No. While I may have put a wager on my favorite fighter, at around this time, he is more than Damian Valor, by the way. Looks like, okay, so this is going to be a very specific reference. Ron Perlman in Blade 2.
Got it. Understood. 100%.
Very much, but just a lot skinnier. Little Grant Morrison in there as well. He is in his corner table, usually, as he is, waxing philosophically and trying to charm those with his intelligentsia speak.
Great.
Perhaps seeing if any of them are willing for a late night rendezvous, if possible.
Yep.
And it's all just the nature of good and evil. And why do we fight? Is this barbaric? And
Sure.
meanwhile, as one comes by, he's always just like, make sure you have 20 on the dwarf.
Okay.
I feel like if she ever heard you waxing this kind of philosophical, she'd be like, never mind, Damien's. I'm turning my axe somewhere else.
So
she's academic, but she hates this.
Yes. Oh, that's exactly what I'm going for. That guy.
Great. So what are you trying to accomplish?
I would like to find out what the way to influence someone would be. Specifically, I guess here, how can I charm the staff into giving me free drinks?
Okay. So you're looking to assess the room.
Yes.
And your goal is to figure out, is there a way for you to get free drinks?
Exactly.
Great. So this is a physical mental test, much the same way that throwing the dagger was. You are physically looking, mentally assessing what is happening around you. Okay? because you're looking around the room. You're not looking, or are you talking directly to the person you're hoping to help?
I would say that this has been something that I keep trying to do anytime that a server.
Let's do one and then the other. Let's go in that order. So, as far as reading an area around you, that is a physical mental test. Okay? So, it is a very busy night. So let's say it's a D8. There's a big crowd. Okay. You can't see everywhere. You're in a conversation. Things are a little difficult.
Let's see. Which of you shall be my fate? Let's go with you. That is a 7.
What is your physical stat on your cards?
Now, I have several. How do I know which one to choose?
You want to choose ones that add up to 7.
Okay. So, using one that has a 3 and one that has a 4 is a logical step.
Do those, does that 3 and 4 also meet the 7 for the mental?
Aha. There's the matching part. I see. In fact, they do. Well, actually, one exceed. No, wait.
Exceeding is fine.
Oh, no. Both are 3 and 4 for physical and mental, so yes.
Great.
Now, how am I certain as to which of these cards by title should I be keeping and should I be using?
I think that is the experience of playing the game, and because I'm not even 100% sure. Okay. Right? If you're deciding how important is it for me to succeed on this, right?
So right now I'm going strictly via the numbers on the card.
Yeah, that's going to determine if you succeed on this test or not.
Okay. Most of these don't have mechanical flavor text yet. That's going to necessarily change this. First, you got to see if you succeed the test.
Some of them do, but those are also rare because I don't want people to have to fail at things in order to have the opportunity to do something cool with their abilities later. Does that make sense?
Okay. So I do meet it.
Great.
With the 2 that I have. With these 2, where do they go?
They stay on the stack, and they turn sideways.
Okay.
So whereas before it was the cards were all like this, up and down like this.
Mine are reverse. I wrote them. I wrote them portraits. And
that's fine. Then you would just turn it the opposite direction of whatever you have.
I will put it in Magic the Gathering.
Or
they stay on top. They are tapped.
Tapped. Got it.
There you go.
All right.
Magic the Gathering terminology you said.
Yep.
So it's tapped. Yeah. Good.
Yep. You are tapping those cards. Okay. So you do. You look around. You see a waitress that has been looking at you all night, and they would,
who wouldn't?
Well, of course, who wouldn't?
Fight night. Gotta look my best.
Exactly. So you think you could charm her?
Oh, I know.
Okay. Well, there you go. Is that what you're attempting to do?
I play these games.
Yeah.
It's all the things I could never do in real life.
All good. So you would like to attempt to charm her?
Indeed.
Fantastic. So this would be a social check.
You cannot use cards you have already tapped in this circumstance.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Moving forward, you will only be able to use scores available to you that are not the wrong way, whatever, and exhausted.
Yep.
I'm trying to help feed because I know Cody's focused on some mechanic things, and I can see the ways that Mike is struggling with mechanics. So I'm trying to help bridge gaps.
Oh no, it's okay.
Is that okay?
I'm a step-by-step person. That's
You're
how
good.
That's why I was giving you that of like, hey, so
doing good. Okay.
This is why these 2 are awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
It also helps me know that I understand it properly, is being able to teach.
Yeah.
So this is helping me know that I'm doing the right thing. If Cody's like, correct, go on, go off.
And yes, McNancy, those have been famous last words for many a time in my life. So yes.
Fantastic. Let's call it a D6.
All right.
And I'm
So any card you have up that has a social skill of 2 that can equal up to 2?
Or exceeds.
Or exceeds.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So if you only have to tap 1, you only have to tap 1. If you know.
Okay, and then I shall be using the Bohemian card.
There you go.
Which has exactly 2.
Nicely done.
I mean, it makes sense considering.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you engage with her. You guys are talking. You're having a great time. It's going to be a time component for her to eventually bring you free drinks, but she is definitely into it, and we're going to say, end your turn, sending her away, and she's about it. So let's try to get through one more round at least with everybody, if not 2, and that should give us kind of a
physical round for them. Drinking.
Social rounds. So let's talk end of round mechanics then.
Yep.
We all have tapped cards.
Yep.
Are we cycling now?
No. So you choose to cycle on your turn, or if a card tells you to.
So essentially, if I've tapped all 4, I will have to cycle, but I'll have to spend an action doing that.
So, all 4 of your cards are tapped.
Yes.
At the end of the round,
yeah,
they untap.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to. Okay, untap. Untap is what I was missing. Great.
They all untap.
So I can keep those same 4 cards in play.
Yeah.
And I don't have to cycle them out. If I really like my top cards.
The only time you would cycle is if you specifically choose to by using an action.
Yeah.
Or if the card tells you to.
Cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if we were forced to cycle at the end of the round, or if I just I used all my cards. Am I just dry? Okay, untapping. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
So they ready is the term we use here, or untap. I'm fine with that. I think Wizards owns the tap untap mechanic anyway. Whatever. I'm fine with it. It's a different property, but that's fine. The idea is that
they call it in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's the exact same thing.
Ready, I think.
Right, that's what they do in Yu-Gi-Oh, though.
Yeah.
The ready or the not. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Defense position and attack position.
Yeah, defense and attack
position.
Okay, that's what I'm imagining. It's been a minute. Thank
you,
you,
no, you're good.
Thank you, Matthew, for being like, no.
Exhaust and recharge. Yeah, it's all sort of the same idea. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
So at the end of the round, those cards go right. They go normal ways up, so you can read them, and you are good to go. The idea behind that is, if you're in a situation in which you are focused on fighting, right, you wouldn't suddenly stop thinking like a shadow walker or a weapon master and start thinking like a bohemian, right? But it takes some effort to put to switch ideas, right? And the times in which you will cycle cards not of your choice is either an ability that happens when you take a wound and you put the wound on that stack, you'll cycle it. So the wound goes on the bottom and you cycle the top card. And the other instance is certain enemy effects and damages that throw you off can force you to cycle your cards.
Nice.
So it will disorient is cycle. Start cycling. Yes.
One mechanics question before I forget.
Great.
Because it is relevant to what we're talking about
100%.
Right now.
Yeah, please.
So we built our cross, our spread at the beginning of the day.
Yep.
And we chose what card went in each spot.
Yep.
So we could have, in theory, known, I am planning on going into a dungeon. I am going to pick 4 specific top cards, and then we can plan out our spread and even it out accordingly. So it's like, all right, I know I have this very balanced spread. I know that I have this, so we get to pick.
Yes.
That's really cool. I like that. I was imagining a much more random, when you flip the card up, oh shit, this is what I'm dealing with. Like the old.
That's the way I like to play.
What I was imagining was, do you remember the old Cardmancer, like Tarotmancer I played?
Yeah.
Lucky. That's what I was imagining, was that we'd shuffle in flaws and have a better chance of flipping them up. But knowing that we that we can prep and know that they're waiting there is very interesting.
So the reason, and originally that was the idea. What you described was the idea. The reason I went to this is because there's always a pain when you're playing an RPG, when you're supposed to be a character that can do something awesome.
Brian
and you,
was just
and you
just
can't
talking
do
about
it.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So giving that control to the players is something I think that is valuable. Now, maybe there's a benefit to doing a fate spread where you deal them all face down. You don't know where any of them are, and you're just turning them up as they cycle to the top.
Well, and we'll find that out during playtesting.
Sure.
If we realize that the never come up and the people can just avoid them forever, then yeah, we'll have to change the mechanics. But this is day one. Like this is
exactly.
playtest one.
But
like,
yeah,
there's ways to work through that. Yes, Matthew.
I had two other mechanics questions, but I did not want to derail the conversation.
You're
But
good.
while we're in this, I felt like it was a good
please.
time to talk about it.
So two things. One, initiative.
Yes.
Currently, we were doing before we realized that it was almost everybody in the pit. We were doing Pixie and then Kevin. Pixie then Kevin. Pixie then Kevin.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever we have team and enemies, do we do good guys go and then bad guys go and then good guys, or do we have a way to figure out initiative?
So I have an idea. The idea is you declare essentially what you're doing, what you want to do, right?
Okay.
There may be a card for that, and I think we're talking in a couple of things. People with the it's based on how close you are to something, right? People in melee combat are going to act first because they can get to their target before ranged combat. People that are talking can talk faster than people that are swinging. Right?
Okay.
People that are casting goes at the bottom because that takes effort. But essentially it would be like one card, and that would be movement would be somewhere on there. That was my thought. It's very complicated, may not make much sense. It may just be better to go off of your mental stat or your physical stat or some combination of the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there might also be because one thing that you were kind of saying that was really interesting was like almost the
order of operations,
and be it like I want to do a physical skill, therefore I go first.
Yeah.
In combat.
So it may
just
be a chart, right? And
in
like
social, here's the order of operations.
Yeah, exactly.
For those kind of encounters.
Who's talking?
Cool.
What are you talking? Right. And if you're casting a spell, maybe you make that social roll
Arcane
then.
goes last.
Yeah, Arcane goes last, but
Arcane goes last.
But yeah. So I think an order of operations would be interesting, and then let it be maybe a little fluid in the middle there.
Yeah. And then second question.
Yes.
Was things like spells. So I have a card, Spell Slinger,
yes,
that lists specific types of spells.
Yes.
It happens to be on the top of my spread.
Yep.
However, if it was buried underneath,
yep,
can I cast those spells?
Yes.
Or does it have to be on my actionable top card?
So the idea for class cards, style cards that have spells is that the spells are available to you. They have their own deck, and instead of characters are tarot cards, right? Spells and equipment are playing card size.
Got it.
So they're smaller, right? So you can leaf through those and have all the text written about what does this do? What do I have to check? You know what I mean? So rather than flipping through the PHB, you can pick up your spell deck, or your ability deck or your formation deck or whatever, and go this one, right?
Yeah. Neat.
There would be, for the spell slinger, not just spells, there would be a class feature probably that went with it to make that more functional or more distinct.
Whenever it is the top card,
you have a benefit from it.
Yeah,
but I mean, if spells are powerful enough and the stats are best for it, you would always want it on top anyway.
Of course.
But maybe that's the first level, is just getting access to some spells, and then at Spell Slinger level 2, you get a class feature. You get something that helps.
Sure.
Right.
Cool. Those are my 2 mechanics questions.
I love it. Thank you so much. I feel like we have a decent idea there. Who would like to go?
We'll let someone else go first this time.
Blondie, let's go.
Thank you for the subscription.
I was gonna volunteer you to do it.
You did it to me last time. My turn.
Lethal Kiss just gave us a bunch of subscriptions.
Oh, thank you.
Bex! I told
Bex.
you this. Thank you, Bex. I love
Tier
you.
1.
You're amazing.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We were all focused on our cards.
Yeah.
We were all like, okay, what do I do? Where are we going? Oh shit! Like,
Yeah.
thank you, Bex. I love you.
What do you want to do, Blondie?
What do you want to do with your life?
Do I have like a sword or something? Again?
Yeah, you want a sword? You can have a sword.
I want a sword.
You got a sword.
I'm gonna pull out my sword and can I run up to him and hit him?
Yeah. So movement is, there's probably a range based on your average physical stat that you can run up to, right? So if your average is 3, maybe it's that times 10, 30 feet, right? Something like that. Well, I'm not worried about that right now, but there is an idea that when you are having to move, and this is actually kind of what I wanted to get to in a second. When you're having to do something in specific ways, there's an approach that we're going to talk about. But you would have to exhaust cards to do like extra movement, basically.
Okay.
There's a small amount that you can always do without exhausting anything, but which is like a 5-foot step, which is like move a little bit. But if you want to get across somewhere, you would exhaust. So let's say you don't have to, because I want to play with other mechanics right now. Kevin's there, or you can hit not Kevin. We call him Timothy. It's up to you.
Oh, he's just
Timothy.
Timothy.
Okay, I'll hit Timothy.
Spelled with a silent Q at the beginning, and he just also sucks.
Yeah.
His
I mean, just
parents are
having
like,
the
your
Q.
name is Timmy, my dude. What the fuck? And he's like, shut up.
No, mother. I wish to be called Timothy.
Exactly.
To silent Q, silent umlaut.
So
Silent in a minute, Timothy.
something we haven't talked about yet, but I think is the flavor of combat, especially for non-magical classes, is something called approaches. And there are 5 approaches. I believe I list them basically under the weapons in Canva. And what an approach is it would be the descriptor, right? Blondie says, I attack him with my sword. And I say, how? And you could give me a wonderful, great description, but what is effectively interesting here is, are you attacking with, I've given them some words, blinding speed, right? Precision and finesse, clever tricks, style and panache, or overwhelming force. And
Clever tricks.
there you go. And so different weapons, the way we distinguish weapons is that they have, I just haven't had the time to go through a whole weapons list, right? But like a dagger, for instance, would have bonus damage on attacking with speed. It's light, It's short, easy to do. Would probably have a penalty on damage if you tried to attack with overwhelming force. Right? So, you're going to try to apply a clever, you're going to try to trick him into taking damage with your sword, right? Clever tricks on a sword sounds good. Or if you had a style where you had a sword, but the sword was just the trick, was the bait. You had another weapon like bladed glove or something like that had, those types of weapons. So, with a clever trick, absolutely, you can, with a clever trick, roll also like you did with the
dagger.
With the dagger, but that would be physical and social. And if you succeed, you would add that social card as bonus damage, because you have put them in a disadvantageous position for you to hurt them more.
Okay.
Right? So, Timothy, let's make it a D6. And go ahead and roll that.
5.
Okay. Any of your physical stats?
I have one that has a 4 and one that has a 1.
Great. You can exhaust both of those. If you exhaust both of those, do the social stats on those cards also meet a 5?
Yes, the one card that has one of the physicals on it has the social.
Perfect. There you go. So that is a success. You deal physical damage, so you take the lower of the physical cards, physical stats, the 1, and you would take the lower of the social.
That's a 0.
So no bonus damage on that, but the 2 and a clever trick on the sword gives you the +1. So you end up dealing... longsword is medium, so that is 4 + 1 + 0 + 1, so 6.
Okay.
Right. I assume you have 2 cards remaining. Would you like to attack again?
Can I pull a dagger out and throw it at Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the D4?
Yeah, Kevin's still stuck in that rock. It's still a D4.
Fuck you, Kevin. A 1!
Nicely done.
Apologies to all the real life Kevins out there.
Nah. So,
I don't apologize to a single goddamn one of you.
Excuse me. What's the physical stat that you exhaust on that attack?
A 3.
So 3 + 2 for a light weapon, 5 points of damage there.
Okay.
Nice.
And that will be... well, can I cycle a card?
Yeah, you exhaust your last card, and you can cycle any or all of the ones that are on top.
I just want to cycle one of them.
Great. So yeah, and when you cycle them, they come to the surface exhausted. So you can't.
It's exhausted. Okay.
You can't use them this turn. Is the point?
Perfect.
Yep.
I didn't plan on it, but
Been
perfect.
holding their breath underwater.
Cool.
Come to the surface exhausted.
There you go. Who would like to go next?
I would like to go because I want to know how this would work.
Great.
So one of my cards up is something unexplained. Something unexplained.
Great.
The text of that card is you can't describe what happened to you in any meaningful way, but you know it changed you and something has been following you ever since. But
Yep.
I'd like to use my arcane score for that.
Okay.
So I kind of like the idea of I try to attack and then he just gets hit with something I didn't mean to do. Like, the fuck?
So that is so.
Because last time I used a magic specific thing.
Right. So let's dive into what that card means. That card is not something you have to call upon. That is an experience you have been through in your past.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if that would affect how I used the arcane, if I could use the arcane score on this or no.
You can, yes.
Okay.
The idea is that the card represents an event. An event that made you weird. An event that added to your arcane energies.
Okay.
So the titles of these cards are essentially what is building us as a person.
Yes.
No, yeah.
The titles,
that I got.
So like you always have a backstory in front of you.
Right.
Yes, you always have a
correct.
Yes, that's correct. I was just trying to. I didn't know if like the other spell thing, I pulled specific stuff,
No.
to hit him with. So I wasn't sure if that was a thing I did again.
So what that one in specific means, that is that like enemy, like friend, like criminal organization, let me speak. All of those go into the DM's adventure deck. And that is stacked with encounters. So as environments and encounters. So as you guys are adventuring, as you're going through things, at some point, your unknown event will come back to haunt you and the party.
I just didn't know if there was a reason I had to story tie the arcane score to the card. So no, I can just do. Let's go.
It was a weird thing that happened to you. You can't explain it, and you are closer to magic because of it.
I do understand that. That's that. Yeah, I get that.
By the way, I just thought of something.
Okay.
Yes.
What if the game runner is called the dealer?
Oh, that'd be fun.
That was really good.
Oh, that is
I like it.
The
good.
dealer of fate.
Or the fate dealer.
The fate dealer, yeah. The fate dealer.
I like it.
So I love that. That's fantastic. So yeah, I will just do some arcane shit then. Let's
Okay. What arcane shit would you like to do?
Yes.
A spell.
Great.
Embrace your divinity.
Can you pick a name of a spell?
Yeah. They were somewhere.
Yeah.
There they are. Got it. I would like to do some. I would like to do some. Flow and crash sounds fun.
Great. Okay. So,
All right.
sounds good. Flow and crash is a water controlling spell.
Okay.
So you need to make an arcane test
Got it. Yeah.
to begin with.
Yep. Fuck. Well, shit. Gotta burn 2 cards to succeed because I rolled a 6 and I have a 5 arcane.
Okay.
So I will burn 2 cards.
Okay.
Or tap 2 cards. Fun.
Are you adding any verbal,
Yes.
somatic, or social, or?
So, no, I'm just adding mana.
Okay.
I'm just gonna add mana because I don't want to waste all of the others cards that I have. So I have 8 arcane that I'm spending on my cards now, so I'll add 8 more mana.
Okay. So it's your highest arcane card.
Then I'll add 5 more mana.
There you go.
So 13 total.
Yes. No, it's.
I'm spending 8 mana with the cards, and then don't I add?
You add one card.
Arcane score is different.
Arcane, yeah, your arcane score from 1 card.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying the arcane scores on the cards that I had to tap to get there added up to 8. So I added I spent 5 mana. That's where I got 13 from.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
Because I figured if I exceed it, but I realized it was the check, not the amount I was spending.
So, when you make the arcane check, if you fail the arcane number, right?
Yeah.
You rolled a 6. Your highest was a 5. You had to add another card to it.
Yes, I did.
You are burning the action to succeed on with the 5.
Yes.
So
no,
you
I
don't
understood that it took me a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Great. So it's 5 plus 5 for 10.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Understood.
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
So the idea is that the arcane points, the total, that 10, right, would be the measurement of water that you could move or control.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
So 10, if we say cubic feet, 10 times 10, so 100 cubic feet of water. So you are, bringing forth this giant wave and hammering it into him. And we would say it deals physical damage. And on that, right, it's a lot of water, it's a lot of stuff. It would have a description in there of how to calculate that damage. Right. So for our simplicity's sake here, let's say that was, let's say it was 10 plus your points. Right. So 20 total. Okay. Huge amount. He takes a wound. Kevin is ticking down. I would also like to mention here that as the weapons have their approaches, spellcasting implements have different approaches on them as well. So a wand is more adept for precise or rapid casting, and a staff would be more adept at powerful, larger.
Yeah, she's not subtle or precise.
Right. So certain elements and certain magics or certain spells would have bonuses for approaches.
Nice.
That you
Nice. Cool.
That's cool.
Let me ask you guys a question. Part of me thinks it is more fun for people to be given, instead of actual spells, elements and effects.
That you can pair together how you want.
Right. And so an effect would be like a list of conditions, how many points it took to put them in the condition, right? Or physical, mental, social damage, right? Arcane damage also.
I think that allows for more creativity, and also because you have limited numbers of cards, your spellcasters don't have to cycle an individual card in for every single spell that they could cast.
Right.
Or learn or whatever.
I think some people would really like it, but I also think there would be people that wanted to play a wizard or something and come to the table and be overwhelmed. Not be accessible for them.
I think this game by design feels like it's how you translate it system, and sticking with that thematically with the spell mechanics is not a bad thing, but I could be wrong.
The one thing that I will say about that is that depending on it, so most of the time whenever you're doing a build your own spell type mechanic, it is like you said, certain things cost certain points to be able to assign them, right? So that you can't string, so that every single time you can't string together the same OP spell.
Right.
And the only thing that I would say about that is that because of that, that does add a level of vague complexity that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but does add to a level of questionability.
Part of my initial idea was that the mana score, you had to pay mana every time you cast a spell. Right. And so
that makes sense. And would that be the same with perhaps like if with endurance, would you have to pay for or use part of those scores for if you want to guarantee a successful block of a physical attack or something like that?
I could see it being used in that way, but less frequently because because endurance and focus would get targeted so much more often.
Or perhaps like even if it's like it's just like you've been infected by some sort of poison and you're trying to use willpower to keep yourself alive.
Right.
Is that like an idea? Like that would be a spending of a point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like. Yeah. I think a lot of gritting it through and gutting it out would be very, very functional.
If you're like desperate for, to succeed on some sort of social check, the reputation would come into play.
Yeah.
I do think that it would, depending on how you do it, because I could see you doing it a couple of different ways, right? Like, so like with Pixie's spell that she just cast, she only needed 6, but she ended up using 8.
Yeah.
Was her score.
Which is again where I got the extra number from.
So maybe if that 8 was now her pool of numbers that she can use that she can spend to create the spell, right? So then she would get to do this thing that costs 2 and this thing that costs 6 or whatever, and that could also encourage you to spend more than necessary to be able to do one big spell.
That was my really thought. Cool. Is because it sucks to have to overpower by 1, right? Like, because then you get into the issue of I'm wasting cards for one little thing. And so the idea of it's not what you want. I had to burn extra cards, so maybe I can do something extra with them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, the reason I didn't. I agree with whatever the success is, and the card being used to power a spell, and being able to add mana to it. If there is no base cost on a spell, then the mana needs to be spent somewhere. Somehow. I can see it going both ways. One of the things I like, though, is that having a physical test that lets you add your arcane score, having a mental test that lets you add your arcane score, having a social test that lets you add your arcane score. If you can do poorly on an arcane score and add all your arcane cards anyway, then there's no benefit from there's no need to ever push yourself to make those extra checks, right? The harder checks, the checks that you are less likely to succeed at, and so that may not be fun, that's. I just thought it ramped up the drama when you really have to like heal everybody, or when you really need this teleport to go through, or when you really need this thing to happen, and you gotta pour all the points you have in it, but you need to kind of succeed the steps along the way to give yourself the room to do it all right. When it's in Bleach, everybody can shoot 0, right? But then when they do the whole chant, and they, there's a dance that goes along with it, and then it becomes canon.
Well, and it might then be like instead of using your arcane score alone to be able to create that point pool, it might be you get to use your highest arcane of any of the cards you use. And then if you want extra stats on top of that, it is, I'm also doing a somatic, which means that I have to roll a social, and then I get to use my highest social of the cards that I spent. And I'm adding a thingy that makes me be able to use my mental. I get to add that highest score to the pool, I
think the drama, for me at least, the possibility of drama comes if you do, in fact, have to cycle in between every round. Because that means if I have prepped with my strongest cards here and I've cycled through them, and then I get hit and I have no more 5s on the table, if you can just keep resetting the same 4 cards over and over, then the push to make those big choices and therefore risk losing your big cards or risk them not being there when you need, or like whatever, instead of, well, I'm gonna have 5s this entire fight, so I'll just be like,
So here's the thing, you won't.
Okay.
Because we're just we're on Shadow Tummy time. You guys have not been.
No, that's.
You guys
that's
have
what
not
I'm
been
asking, yeah.
hit or really attacked
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Making sure.
The defense and the impact mechanics are. We have only looked at, glanced at.
Yeah.
That's
right?
helpful. That's good. We're good. I'm good.
I'm still trying to make sure that we're all good on you doing stuff, not stuff happening to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
That is good to know because knowing that will change that does help. Because otherwise, I was like, what is the push to do anything other than just stack my own deck in my favor every single day? And so that is helpful. The things happening to us that make us change, that's helpful.
Right.
Good.
And note that everything you guys have done has mostly been on a 6.
Yes.
A very low chance of failure, right?
Yeah. It's gonna get harder.
On an 8,
Yeah.
that's a 50% chance of failure. On a 10, we're up to 60. If you're on a 4 or a 5, right?
Yeah.
50, 60. On a 12, 65, 2/3 of the time you're going to fail. On a 20, 3/4 of the time you're going to fail. On a 100,
You're almost guaranteed.
you're almost guaranteed to fail. But two things are happening. And I thought that was one thing I was going to do is if you fail, you have to cycle the card.
Yeah. Like if you can't win.
Oh.
If you attempt a check and you fail, you have to cycle the card. You have to exhaust and cycle it.
Okay.
But I kind of just wanted to get you guys doing.
No, yeah, on
Oh,
board.
yeah.
On board.
And the other thing that kind of would encourage some cycling, like currently with my spread, I am very social and arcane focused, right? But if we got into a situation where we were forced to be running away because of story, I would need to cycle.
Yeah.
Even if enemies aren't forcing me to, I have all ones. And I have all ones and 1/2 for my physical right now.
Right.
So if we were forced to run away, I'd be like, oh shit, I have to cycle this other thing, which theoretically lowers my arcane or lowers blah 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 whatever.
Right.
And that's
As a reason to cycle.
Yeah, and I need to and as a tactile player, knowing and understanding those as possibilities is helpful. Thank you. I apologize. That is a helpful thing that changes the mechanic idea for me in a positive way. Good, excellent, phenomenal. Picasso, no changes, no notes. Great, amazing. Good to know. Thank you. Good. Because that was my thing. Is I was like, well, if I can always just like make spells happen that I want, like why would I do anything other than
in theory,
have,
you could stack it to always be doing your arcane, but
like,
as soon as
those
mental.
those things, and the knowing that enemies doing stuff to us will affect. That's helpful. Thank you.
Well, maybe it's also worth saying that instead of an average stat, it's any stat, your lowest stat that's on the board for something.
So, like cycling that out to make sure you're a little.
So you're trying to balance. You're trying to have something physical on top, so you can dive, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's instead of your lowest, because like my lowest is almost always going to be a 1,
Always
no matter what
gonna
I
be a 1.
have. But
Yeah.
like even if it's your average of your visible stats,
Sure.
or like something like that, like making sure that your visible stuff always matters, not just the stuff that's buried underneath.
Yeah. All right. That was good conversation. I appreciate it. Is there anybody that would like to try something or has a question of how would I do this? What would it look like if I tried to do this? Yeah, what do you got, Mike?
Yes. What if I want to pickpocket someone?
That's a great question. So it would be, we would go through three kind of questions, right? Who are you pickpocketing? That's going to determine part of the difficulty. Your approach is also going to determine what stats get rolled, right?
Gotcha.
If you're attempting to do it with blinding speed, I may have you make 2 physical tests, right? If you're going to attempt to distract him, I would have you roll and have a social and physical. right? We know physical's going to be in there for you to actually lift it off of him. You know what I mean? If it's purely based on finesse, then I would think it is, or precision, finesse and precision, then mental and social. Right?
Okay.
It's a complex test because it's more than just your ability to move in a certain way, right? You're either having to distract him, you're having to observe and plan and plot and put into action that plan skillfully, or you're just trying to grab it and run. You don't care if you're getting seen, right?
Gotcha.
That is it. That to me is that type of complex action. Complex actions take at least 2 cards, right? I can imagine a very complex action in combat may take all 4 cards, but you would be testing, but it's 1 roll, right? There is another mechanic that we have not talked about of bonus and penalty dice, which is rolling multiple dice of the difficulty, taking either the better or the worse. Some abilities do that. And the last mechanic that I had sort of pieced in there is much more specific with the hunter. Is a karmic roll. So if you are making that dagger attack, right, and you roll a d6, your stat is 3. Physical for the sword attack, let's just call it that, so I don't have to deal with the mental. And you roll a 3, you roll the exact number of your stat. That is a karmic roll. And the bigger the die, the bigger the bonus that adds to it. So getting a karmic roll with a d4 gives you a 4, a bonus of 4. Getting it with a 6 gives you a bonus of 6. Getting it with an 8, a bonus of 8, 10, 12, 20, 100. So if you hit that number, basically. And I think that's how I'm also would be doing criticals, is a critical, a natural 1, gives you a bonus on the effect equal to the difficulty die. So if you're rolling a d4, you get a 1, you only get a bonus of 4 damage. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So because actually the weapon master has an ability about if they increase the difficulty of their attack, they get to impose and succeed. They get to knock their person down, disarm them, shove them out of the way. They are trying to do something harder than just hit them, right? So they can increase the difficulty of their die to perform these techniques, right?
That's really cool. That's a really cool like scaling mechanic.
Yeah, and because we had, there's a lot of layers, but I also want to get through the weirdest ones first. The one like the dice as a difficulty is a unique concept. Rolling low is less common of a concept, right? I think the weapons have a chance to be very distinct from each other, because at some point a d6 is a d6, whether it's piercing or slashing or whatever. It's a fucking d6, right? But a spear is better at precision than a great sword. That's for cutting down swaths.
That's swaths. Listen, that's pretty solid weapon math right there. Like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like.
Yeah, and so that's why I hadn't done the list. But so my base idea is that light weapons are a 2, medium weapons are a 4, heavy weapons are a 6, and then the bonuses. It depends on what type of weapon it is, right? Axes get a bigger bonus to overwhelming power, but you cannot. They get a penalty to precision. If you try to attack precisely with them, you deal less damage. Like you just can't, right? So there's that. I like the idea of implements affecting how people cast spells, and maybe certain spells having, or spell effects maybe having bonuses. If I did the effects, I would like it to be like a formula, right?
Yeah.
1 card for the target, 1 card for the element, 1 card for the effect. This plus this plus this equals. There's your cost. There's what it is. There's what it does. Any last minute feedback? Any other thoughts?
I'm really excited. I think you're starting in a really good place. Like, especially for like a first playtest. In general, the mechanics make way more sense than I thought they were going to. And the clarifications of, oh right, we're just focusing on one thing. I'm trying to focus too much on the bigger picture. I have to remember this is what we were learning today. I feel like I have learned that. I love how quickly all of us started developing characters just based on the cards you gave us.
Yeah.
That was spectacular. That was so much fun. That in and of itself made me excited to keep seeing what you do with this.
Great. That was very exciting for me as well. I'm hoping to make these other crunchier bits as exciting to jump in on.
And I think they will be. There is a very, very solid base there, and there are some very, very solid ideas.
Yeah.
And obviously, like it is still so early in development that the crunch is still being developed, and it has a lot of potential. So
Nice. Thank you.
I'm very excited.
Michael, anything? Blondie, anything? No is an acceptable answer. Just want to give you the chance.
It's one of those things of learning through doing.
Yeah. Once we started doing it, it started making a lot more sense, and really, so it was coming together very smoothly.
Yep.
Awesome. Great. I think having cards or representations for the spells and weapons will make that go much smoother. You know, we had to get into some nebulous territory without it being written down for somebody else to look at it and read. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a good time too. Thank you for all of your feedback. Thanks for playing. Are we gonna try to raid out to anybody?
Yeah, raid Perception Studio.
Okay. Let's see. Raid Perception Studio.
I had a lot of fun. So
yeah.
This was fun. Thank you for having us on board.
Thank you.
Cody and I have a long week of playtesting between him doing this and then me running map. We playtesting this weekend.
Yeah.
We're both our brains are, you all will start to see crossovers in each other's games. Like both of us wrote in a multi-bloodline ancestry sort of mixed race mechanic.
Yeah.
Both of us wrote that in already with like, not only dwarves should get that, like both of us have like a luck or like both of us have like a couple of things that we fed off each other, but they look so different in each game. And that's funny to me. Like, I think that's going to be interesting. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this, really.
Well, thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. But until then, be cool.